Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Um, Today's program is inputting 10 numbers and output how many numbers were positive and negative. So your program will decide actually from a list of given numbers or the list entered by a user. Since the user can enter some positive and some negative numbers, so your program will decide how many numbers were positive and negative. I am Muhammad Mushtaq, and let me explain you how can a user input different values. Like, for example, the user inputs randomly. I'm just entering a few positive and few negative numbers, like here 12 and whatever the value the user wish to enter. And then few negative and positive. How many numbers? Let me count in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So these are different 10 values. So out of these 10 values, we will count how many numbers were positive. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are positive. So at the end, the positive should be 6 and the negative should be 4, like 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we will use two different counters. Okay, one will count the positive and the other will count negative number. So let's start with the code. Since these are 10 numbers, so we have to use loop as well. And I have already explained in my other videos why we use loop. Loop actually repeats number of inputs as many times as the user wish. So for example, in this program, the user will input 10 numbers. So we will run the loop for 10 times. But before starting the loop, since we need different counters, so we will also initialize those counters. Since the Python doesn't need any declaration, so we directly use this counter. This is for positive. You can simply write it P, or to make it more understandable, you can write it POS. And for negative, I'm just writing neg. Okay, I need these two counters. Okay, one will store the number of positive and other will store the number of negative. So here we are going to use loop, and we started with the word for count in range. This is the proper, you can say, the format of Python. 0 to 10, since we are entering 10 numbers. So we write this column at the end. So after that, it will make indentation automatically. It says, okay, next line should start from here. Okay. So I'm taking num as a variable to take the number. Int, its type. The number will be of integer type, a whole number type. Input is also the command for taking input at number. Okay. So as soon as the user will enter this number, the program will check if this number is greater than 0. As we all know, all the positive numbers are greater than 0. If this number is greater than 0, then count it in positive. That means count 1 in positive. Okay. And if number is less than 0, then count it in negative. So whenever we use a counter, we increment it 1 every time. Every time a number is positive, it will count 1 in positive, and every time the number is negative, it will count 1 in negative. So this process will continue, and now we are outside the loop here. This is the place where we are outside the loop. Okay, so this block of code is inside the loop. That means the whole block will be repeated for 10 times. Okay, so whatever I will write here, that will not be repeated and that will be considered outside the loop. Okay, now since the output will only be displayed once, so that's why we are writing the output outside the loop. So let me write the output here. Print and a few words as well with that, or number of positive. Let me make the correct spelling. Positive, sorry. Number of positive values equals pos. Basically, POS, pos is a variable that was used as a counter. Print number of negative values equals pure energy. So remember that anything that we write inside this speech mark and you see it in a light green color, that will be displayed as it is on the screen. And here, which is outside those speech marks, that will show the value. What will be the value stored in that? So let's see. After running the code, you will better understand this concept. Here I'm running and this program has already been saved. Now it is asking me to enter number. Okay, the first line is running now inside the loop. Okay, so I'm entering first number. Now it is asking for the second number. Okay, so I'm entering a few positive number and also a few negative numbers as well. So whatever the number can be. Okay, numbers can be bigger as well, and few more negative numbers, a few positive number. And at the end, you can clearly see there are 4 positive values and 4 negative values. Let's say first number was entered 3. So the program checks it. Okay, if it is greater than 0, then count 1 positive. So positive will be 1 because the positive at the start was 0. We initialized it with 0. So when the first number was less than greater than 0, that means it was a positive number. It is adding 1 in positive. Okay, and in the same way, now the positive is 1. Remember that. Okay, at this stage the positive is 1. So when the user enters second number and the second number is also greater than 0, so it again enters 1 in positive, but now the previously positive was 1. Now it will become 2. Okay, so and every time the positive number comes, so it will be 1 will be added to positive. Okay, so plus 1, and then this was also positive, adding 1. This was also positive, adding 1. This was also positive, adding 1. So in total, the positive becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which is the correct answer. And in the same way, negative number is also counted because all these negative numbers are less than 0. Okay, so the program runs, okay, if the number is greater than 0, that means that number, the same number, cannot be less than 0. So it will simply ignore this statement. Okay, when first statement is not true, then it will check the second one. Okay, so that makes sense. So this is how the program runs. Okay, thank you so much.